Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Core Boy, back at it again with another video today. I have a doggy right here beside me, old Coulter. He's just sitting here. I don't know what he's gonna do. He's just a dog though. But today, of course, playing some Halo like fucking normal. Hopping into some quick play just because Free for All has an absolutely abysmal wait time, like 5 minutes, and that's what happens when you record a video at 10 in the morning, cause I'm up early and I need to go ahead and get this done. Anyway, we have a bit of a topic today, and it's something that I've been wanting to talk about for a little bit. Um, Something that I've mentioned in other videos, something that has been kind of here and there in some of my other videos recently. I just haven't had the time to fully digest and talk about this yet, because it is like a pretty big thing to talk about within the gaming world, and something that I think needs to be addressed at least a little bit more often, and something that needs to be looked at heftily when it comes to the current state that we are in within, well, the gaming sphere. I think it's a very serious thing to look at, something that could really foretell the future of what gaming is coming to be and what it will end up being in a couple of years. And I mean, we're already seeing it. I just think it's something that should be taken a little bit more seriously, something that should be looked at as a possible good and bad, more on the bad side of things, but hopefully something that people start locking down on more and start talking about a bit more often than what they have in recent years. Because, well, I think most of us who have been playing games for years upon end, and it's something that has just become a huge part of our lives as we've got older. I mean, I started playing games when I was like 5 or 6, and well, I'm 22 now, so oh boy, this is bad. This is not a good fight. Okay, there we go, cool. There's one up there too. I know that for a fact. There's one up in that corner. How many fucking grenades does he have? God damn. It's like he threw like 8 down there. Does he just have a fucking constant spawn of grenades on him? Anyway, topic for today is going to be more centered towards the genre of FPS games and not on the scale of like single player experiences or just mostly any other game experience outside of the first person genre of video games. Specifically, like I said, first person shooters, because it's something that plagues. Please. Okay. Yeah, I'm playing like shit today. I can already tell. This is awesome. Uh, but anyway, we're going to be talking about AAA and indie developers, and specifically the effect that AAA games have on indie games. I think we've seen more in recent years than ever of indie games kind of stepping in, trying to fill the voids that a lot of FPS games have missed coming from AAA devs for a good while. With that specifically being games like Call of Duty and Halo, Counter-Strike, Valorant, whatever it may be. If you guys have kept up in recent years, and you've probably heard of games such as Splitgate, Shatterline, and things of that nature. Games that personally I enjoy a lot. Games that I actually do love playing. I mean, throughout Splitgate's tenure as a game before they finished it up and decided to work on a new project, I've put an absolutely ridiculous amount of hours into that game. I'm talking probably about 300 to 400 hours in that game, and I played it consistently for months upon months on end because I just simply loved that game and what it told for a game like that, a competitor to Halo, something that has been never really done before. I guess you went up that big end, and I didn't even think about that at all whenever I was in that fight. I keep forgetting about those little ledges. But something we really have never seen in the past, a game that decided to fully embrace what Halo once was, but take a little bit of a twist on it and add things like portals into the gunplay element of the game, which was honestly very refreshing. Like it like genuinely, when I say this, I mean it. Splitgate was one of the most well done games that we have ever seen in gaming in recent years. Especially with how the gunplay worked, how the game was treated, and the dev team behind it just being absolutely wonderful throughout its tenure. I'm someone who was really being on following them like on their Twitter and their Reddit and everything in between, and seeing how they would interact with their community, seeing how they would, they would have an issue in game, and then the day of they'd be like, oh yeah, we're fixing this right now. Just wait a couple hours. We'll have a patch out for it. Just give us some time. And they would. They were always very much on board of getting their game into a better state and helping out the community have just a absolutely wonderful experience within that game. And it's something that I think a lot of dev teams these days, especially AAA devs, really do miss out on, is that sense of community and that sense of care within their game, which is honestly really unfortunate. I really do miss an era whenever we had a dev team that seemingly really cared about the state of their game more than they cared about how much money they were bringing in every single week. And it's unfortunate as it is. I feel like it's just progressively got worse, and it's got talked about less and less. And whenever it is talked about, you're met with these really weird standpoints of like, well, as long as we're bringing money, we're just going to keep getting games. That shouldn't matter. But it should. There's definitely ethics within it that should be taken into account and things that should be looked at in a serious nature. Because, well, gaming is always about the people that are playing it. It's never truly about just the developer and everything. It's about those that play the games more than anything. And that should always be the forefront of it. It always has been, and it always will be. At least I would hope it is always that case. I hate to see whenever a game that I love kind of gets taken over by these really bad practices within the world of gaming. It's always sad to see, because there's so many games that I love that I've just seen go that route of being taken over by these big business heads and things that just kind of make it not what it used to be. It loses a sense of its humanity to it. I mean, I think it comes also, there's that point of, I grew up playing games in a time where, like, microtransactions really weren't a thing, other than maybe a DLC here and there you would get kind of periodically, but even then, DLCs just felt like fully fleshed out content that was planned for months, and just was a way to sustain the game's livelihood as the years went on for that game. I mean, looking back on Halo 3 and Halo Reach, and shit, I'd go as far to even say Halo 4, and then also looking back on games like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, 3, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, with the introduction of map packs and zombies expansions with those games, and it just really gave a whole new light to the game that just added to the longevity. And while I know there's definitely a debate to be made about DLCs and how they were at the time of, oh, well, this game should have just came out with this content, and while I understand that and do agree, DLCs were a lot different than the content that we get now with battle passes and stuff of that nature, and very much different than the time of loot boxes, which was, well, that was a time for gaming, and definitely not a good one. I can say that much. It was a very rough era for the gaming universe, and for those that love this, I mean, at this point, I can't even consider gaming a hobby. It's at this point a lifestyle that people undergo and just have a huge passion for. And that's been seen in especially recent years of just how the scope of gaming has changed from being this like weird niche thing that people enjoyed and did to becoming something that's super mainstream, and kind of at this point just everyone does, because it's just so accessible to everybody, and has been since, I would say, the pandemic. We've seen a huge influx of players in many different games during that time, whether it was Call of Duty or Halo or Counter-Strike, whatever it may have been. There was just a influx of people who had literally nothing to do. So people were like, well, let's give this whole gaming thing a try. People have been doing it for years. Let's finally give it a shot. And honestly, gaming has kind of got weird since then, because a lot of people who never gave a fuck about that whole lifestyle, that whole community, are now like, oh, I care so deeply about it now, but in the absolute worst ways possible, which kind of plagues it still. I hate to be the guy to be like, gatekeeping is okay, and I did a whole video talking about it, yesterday, of how gatekeeping is sometimes the way to go. It's a learning thing, and when you have these really fucking, like, business-minded people come in, it does kind of taint what gaming is, and they're like, well, the ethics don't matter, and what comes into it doesn't matter as long as they can make money from it, which is super fucking weird. That's never really been the forefront of gaming. It's about a player's experience. It's a form of art. I mean, it goes hand in hand with music and fucking painting, drawing, graphic design, whatever it may be. It goes into that. It's a form of art. It's writing. It's the way the games look. It's the way that they play. It is at its heart an art form. And it's really weird because you have these really, really talented indie dev games, and I mentioned earlier games like Splitgate and Shatterline, that are really, really well done and are done by just a couple of people, but those games never see the light of day and really get the love that they deserve compared to a AAA game like Call of Duty or Halo or Battlefield, which to a degree can be argued that those games have even less content and games that feel almost lackluster. I mean, as someone who, I'll go back on COD because I feel like COD is a really big title that needs to be looked at when it comes to this, because it's just shown over time. I started playing Call of Duty when Modern Warfare 2 came out whenever I was a kid, and I played every single game leading up to Cold War. I went back and played the entire series when I was a kid. I played Modern Warfare 1, I played COD 3, COD 2, and the first Call of Duty, and also World at War as well. And, you know, as years went on, you know, there was that point where it was like, they had a fantastic run from Modern Warfare 1 to World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2 is a fantastic run of games, and games that I still look back on extremely fondly, and I'm like, damn, I really miss that era. I miss whenever I could just hit up my friends like, hey, y'all want to hop on COD and play for a couple hours, and that was just a time. Now, of course, there's the nostalgic factor of, well, we were fucking kids, we had nothing to do, but also looking back, you can also tell that those games really had a lot of love put into them, and those dev teams were really proud of them. I mean, still to this day, we are seeing remakes of maps in Call of Duty from fucking 12 years ago. I mean, we basically got all the COD community got a whole ass fucking DLC with the last release of Modern Warfare 3. While better than Modern Warfare 2 in a damn near every compatible facet, I played the beta of that game, absolutely loved it, but I couldn't justify a $70 fucking price tag on what literally was just a DLC to Modern Warfare 2. Of course, they didn't want to package it like that because of how bad MW2's reputation had got, which is honestly fucking sad, because if you grew up in the time that I was playing Call of Duty, MW2 was looked at as the pinnacle for COD. It was looked at as, that is the Call of Duty game that everyone should play, and I still think that to this day. It is the one title that if you have a way to go back and experience it, whether it be the campaign or the multiplayer, whatever it may be, you should be able to go back and experience it. That game was something that was extremely special and very, very crucial to, well, Call of Duty as a brand. You know, we've seen the introduction from Modern Warfare 2 of things like, examples, like all of the big teams. Optic, FaZe, Farrico, all those fucking teams that we still know today in the COD community to a degree. Some of those teams, of course, are disbanded and defunct now, but the big ones, Optic and FaZe, are still huge competitors within the esports scene of Call of Duty, which is absolutely massive. Still to this day, it is fucking huge, and something that I think a lot of COD players really do revere, especially from that era. Like, we just seen so much come from that year of Call of Duty that has just never been matched again, especially with the new era since Modern Warfare 2019, which I feel like that game kind of caused Call of Duty to lose a lot of its shine that it once had. We lost the core gameplay element of this really fast-paced, arcadey multiplayer shooter to a more tactical, kind of dumbed-down version of the game that we once loved. And as much as I loved certain aspects of Modern Warfare 2019, I mean, I put quite a few fucking hours into that game, but it was more geared towards the like the search and destroy type game modes, which were really the only modes that were fun within the game's multiplayer as a whole. I feel like it's the only ones that I was able to enjoy because it still felt like COD. It didn't feel like some shell of a game that it had once, like, you know, that it now is, which is honestly probably one of the most unfortunate things to happen to a game, is whenever you notice, like, damn, this just does not feel as good as it used to. This is not as fun to play as it once was. And I think it's just the way things go as things get bigger. As unfortunate to say as that is, it's just how it is. And, you know, if we don't have people who talk about it and are like, no, this is just a really bad practice, then it's never really going to get fixed. And as unfortunate as it is, it's just how it is. If you don't have people criticizing the game and, you know, making it really want to change its course, then, well, you're never going to see it. And as much as I hate it, it's just the way it is within this universe that we love so much, this facet that we love so much. And, you know, I hope that people start understanding and seeing it as the years go on and people start kind of standing out and being like, no, this isn't how a game should be ran. It should be done differently. You know, it's just things that I can hope for. I've noticed it more and more recently that most COD players are like, yeah, no, we really don't like the way that this is going. And more people have stepped away from it and been like, yeah, we just don't want to play anymore. It's not what it used to be. It's not as fun. It doesn't have the life that it once had. And I think that's a good thing. I think it's going to hopefully at one point force those dev teams to step up and really make something that's worthwhile again. Because, well, just like as an old school player, I do miss it. I miss that era a lot. I miss what it entailed and missed how it used to feel and be back in those days whenever I was playing games as a kid. And hopefully it just changes. Like, hopefully that's something that we see. Oh, damn it, he stole my grav hammer kill. And I would like to say there are a lot of alternatives to Call of Duty. I can promise you that much. There's a lot of them. You know, rather it be Shatterline or fucking Splitgate, whatever it may be. What? Oh, I got shot with the fucking... I was like, how did I get one hit by a fucking flag? Like, there's no way. I'm about to get pissed off and angry, brother. I was about to say, what the fuck? But it's something that I do hope takes a drastic change in the coming years of how games are treated, especially the live service multiplayer FPS games, because I really do miss, like, playing those games a fuckload, and it's just, it seems like it dwindles out more and more as the years go on. Can you guys go return our flag? Okay, I guess not. That's cool. I don't know which way oh, he's over here. Oh, he's somewhere over there with a grab hammer. I know that. Fuck. But, you know, I hope the gaming sphere kind of hits a point where it's like, okay, we have to change this. And I think it will happen. I think people can only take so much before they're like, okay, yeah, this is bad. This needs to be fixed, or we're going to hit a point where literally no game is enjoyable and where it's really this fucking faceted thing towards how much money can we make year after year, which is not how games should be ran at all. Okay, they're gonna get that point. I love that. That's awesome. What is happening here, brother? What is happening, brother? Please. But, you know, I'd like for people to take more consideration and a bigger look at that than just seeing it as a, oh, well, it's just money. And it's more than that. You all did not see that. I literally just thought, I said, you know what? I don't need to shoot the sniper rifle anymore. He was just standing there too. That's the crazy thing, is fucker was just hanging out. Damn, you already got the drop on me and everything. I'm sorry, where did my... Okay. You know, that's fair. I guess. I guess I'm just bad at the game, that's fine. But I really do hope people start taking a closer look at how things in gaming have changed over the years. And I think we have seen a bit of a change, and I'm going to use this as an example, is Baldur's Gate. I mean, the game was fucking huge last year, and they said, hey, no, this is the full game. Like, you are going to get a full experience. And I mean, there are hours upon hours that you can put into that game. Rather it's, you know, doing different playthroughs, building different characters, learning different skill sets with each individual character and each individual role that you can play as. There is so much to do within that game that it is actually fucking insane, and something that I haven't seen in a game in a very long time other than that individual title. I mean, other than From Software games, which are always super fully fledged out and super well put together experiences that get the praise that they fucking deserve. I mean, Elden Ring was revered for its gameplay, revered for its storytelling, and just how the game was, because it was an actual full-fledged experience that cannot be replicated by really any other company other than FromSoft. Like, they have always been the kings of what they do, giving these really hard experiences, making these games challenging, but also games that are fulfilling. And a lot of people who actually play them get that experience. They're like, oh no, this is just fulfilling. Like, learning a boss's moveset for, you know, a couple of hours and then finally defeating that hard-ass boss that you've been stuck on for hours or days is a super fulfilling aspect of those games. And learning how different movesets can work on a character, learning how different weapon sets work and things of that nature, I think are just what makes those games fully completed experiences. Is you give me more ways to play than just one, and I think that is truly what sets those games apart from other titles. And it's just something that I think only that kind of game gives anymore. I miss whenever games weren't super fucking harped on about balancing issues, when it was like, brother, just get good. And I really do feel like, yes, there are things that are broken in games. Do not get me lost on that. There are things that have definitely like, oh, that's fucking broken. That should be fixed. But there's also that time where it's like, I miss when every gun in a game was fucking broken out the ass for absolutely no reason, but they were all just really fun to use. Like, I always use MW2 as an example because it truly was that way with that game, where every gun was kind of overpowered, but it made it really fun because it just, like, you know, every gun performed differently, but they were all just good in their own way and allowed for a bunch of different play styles, allowed for different, like, strategies when playing different modes. Rather it be objective or team deathmatch, whatever it may be, it allowed for so much differentiating factors of the game that really gave it that replayability factor. You know, there was, you know, the kids who got really fucking good at one-man army noob tubes, the kids that got really good at sniping, the kids who got really good at just the reg gun standard of just hit your fucking shots and get kills and play the objective decently. And it was just a really cool time, and I haven't seen anything come close to that in recent years. And it's an aspect that I miss. You know, why does it gotta be this super pinpoint thing? And I get it for a competitive standpoint, but I don't get it for a casual player or someone who doesn't play competitively and is just good at the game. And we've even hit that weird point where devs have had this like weird hate boner for snipers because they're like, no, you can't be good at this playstyle. If you get good at that playstyle, it's not fun for everyone else. And it's like, well, just tell them to get good, dog. Like, it takes practice to get good at something, and if you think gaming is that useless where you don't want to get good and you just want to get mad about it and say it should be not you, you know, respect you, dog. Respect on that. But then just don't fucking play. And it's okay to lose players to people who don't understand the culture of gaming, because there is a culture that surrounds it. A culture that is very, very well spoken on the things that they care about when it comes to gaming. And it's weird, too, because I've noticed the people who really do care have been getting more flack recently than ever, because they really do care about the core aspects of gaming, and are like, no, this stuff really does matter, and it shouldn't be taken as this, like, weird fucking light thing within this, you know, community of people who love this stuff. And I don't know. I hope it changes. I hope we hit a point where it's like, yeah, fucking stop being stupid. Or maybe those people will learn and understand the aspects that we truly do care about as people who play these games for hours upon hours on end. I mean, I do this every day, and while I guess some people be like, well, you're a fucking loser, I'm like, oh, well, this is the one thing that I care about and something that I've had since I was a fucking kid that appealed to me. It was a way that I met all of my friends. It was a way for even me and my friends at school and how we connect. I still have multiple stories about my best friend Bradshaw and how literally in our life, there's been 1 week that we've actually hung out together outside of gaming and spent time together. And it was when I came here for Christmas back in 2019. And we spent like a week together, but like, that's been my best friend for 15 years. I still play games with him every single day. And we've never really once had the urge to be like, we need to just fucking go hang out outside. It was just always like, you know, this is the thing that we both collectively enjoy as friends and something that we do every day just because we love it. And it's weird, a lot of stuff has changed over those years, and we talk about it every day of how we wish games would go back to this time. And I know it's understandably like a nostalgia factor, but it was also just a time when gaming felt more healthy and more cared about than what it does in its current state. And I just hope to see those things change in recent years, because it's something that I have a lot of passion for, and I know a lot of other people have passion for. And I just hope to see it change. And I mean, even looking at Halo in its current state, while the game has got immensely better, there's definitely still some decisions that have been made from the publisher of the games that are like, what the fuck? Like, we look here at this operation that we got, there's 20 levels, and then everything else is in the store, and that's simply just not good for a game. So I really do hope those things change. I hope they get taken into consideration and people look at it and be like, this needs to be fixed. Because truly as it is, it's not good for the games. It's bad. It takes away from the longevity, and just something that I really hope takes a staunch turn, especially in the coming years. Other than that, guys, it has been your boy Coreboy. I'm going to hop out of here. I will, of course, have a new video tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. I love you all, and yeah, later, dudes.